From the Classic 107 studios in downtown Winnipeg, 107 Live for Birchwood Jaguar, the art of performance.
live in the Classic 107 studio. You just heard the playing of David Liam Roberts on the cello. A little bit of Bach for you to begin this 4 o'clock hour of the Diamond Lane. The latest installment of Birchwood Jaguar 107 Live, and I'm joined now by David Liam here in the studio. Hey.
Hi, Simon.
How are you doing?
Good, thanks.
Well, thanks so much for coming by the studio. I know it's a place that you've been before. It's a place you've played before. You were in it last about a year ago. What have you been up to since?
Yeah, I was here, I don't know, when was it?
I think it was like December last year.
December, right, for the WMC scholarship competition. So, yeah, since then I've been doing some auditions actually for schools.
Nice.
I auditioned for Colburn and Curtis. They're pretty much the most selective schools at least in North America. So I was kind of going into it with mixed feelings, but
of course.
So it wasn't successful. So I'm here. Thankfully,
still enjoying playing, of course. And keeping busy.
Yeah, exactly. So I'm in grade 12 right now.
Wow.
Just finishing school.
Yeah.
And so I'm still studying with Yuri. And,
wonderful.
Since then, this year I haven't been part of the chamber music program at the U of M, which is something that I've been part of for the past 3 years with Dr. Mina Rose Chung. So that's been a great opportunity in the past 3 years. But yeah, I mean, school and practicing is my life right now, pretty much. So.
Keeping busy. I'm sure that so many of the listeners, I mean, know you by name already. You're such a lauded young cellist here in Winnipeg, and I mean, I don't mean to go on for too long, but for those of you just tuning in, if you don't know David Liam's playing, I mean, he's as he alluded to, a Women's Musical Club winner, Winnipeg Symphony Orchestra student soloist competition, former principal of the Winnipeg Youth Orchestra, and then of course there's the youngest ever winner of the Aikens. I mean, top prize at the Winnipeg Music Festival instrumentally. You're in this afternoon as one of the Virtuosi Young Artist winners. What is this particular honor, the latest notch on the musical belt? What does it mean to you as a young player?
Well, actually, yeah, it's a great opportunity. When I heard about the auditions, the first time that they did it was last year, I think, in 2016. So I thought it was just a great idea. Actually, it's something that I've been doing for quite a few years, even before it became a thing, so to speak. But in 2014, after the Aikens competition, I played in a master class with Estelle Choi of the Calidor String Quartet, part of the Winnipeg Youth Orchestra's. I guess a perk of being in that orchestra is that they organize master classes with some of Virtuosi's artists. So that was one of those occasions, and it just so happened that Harry Strub was in the audience listening. Harry Strub is the artistic director of Virtuosi.
He is.
And so he heard me play and thought maybe it would be a good idea to have this student on the show. Sorry, not on the show, in the series. In the next concert. So the next concert was in just a few days, and so I played some solo Bach, and
nice.
Yeah, I guess it was well received. He continued doing it the next year with the next Aikens winner, Greg Lewis, and then they started holding these auditions. So yeah, it's a great idea.
It definitely is. I mean, just that opportunity to get in front of a Winnipeg audience and to perform in this intimate chamber setting. What does it mean to be opening for the Dover Quartet? I mean, they're in town with this great program. What does it mean to be opening before them?
I'm absolutely very excited. I'm huge fans of the Dover Quartet. I've been following them on Facebook for a long time.
Yeah, that's classic.
I really respect them as musicians, and probably my favorite quartet.
What is it? What is it about their playing that you like, or maybe not? It's not even their playing. Like, what is it about the Dover Quartet that you admire so much as a young performer?
Yeah, I guess they're the way that they're building a career. It's very it's very forward-looking and very successful. So
yeah, they're very current, and they're inspirational that way. Like, I mean, they're really separating themselves with the pack, and so it's got to be just a great opportunity to meet and chat with them. And that's one of the other great things about Virtuosi is that people can come up and talk to you after, and talk to the players after. So
exactly,
it really is such a great series. I want to touch just a little bit on the idea of chamber playing, because you're not just a recital soloist, but you're also a chamber player. I mean, I imagine music was in the household. I went through the Faculty of Music with your brother.
Yeah.
I met your sister. I mean, you're all string players. Chamber music must come naturally to you. What is it that you enjoy about chamber music and collaboration that way?
Yeah, I mean, I've been doing chamber music since I was like 5. I started.
Ever?
Yeah. Well, yeah, pretty much, I guess. Just busking at the Forks.
Nice.
And other farmers markets with my 2 older siblings. So, yeah, it's been a part of my life for a long time. And, I mean, yeah, playing chamber music is a really important part of being a musician. That's pretty much the best part of being a musician, is just playing with other people. It's actually pretty rare that you don't play with other people as a cellist. Maybe as a pianist, you're more of a solo player, but yeah, as a playing chamber music, I've been part of the Chroma Quartet at the University of Manitoba, so that's kind of been, I've spent tons of time with them over the past 3 years, rehearsing like 2 or 3 times a week for a few hours. So, but I think it's been important. So. It's just as important as solo playing.
Of course, that collaborative aspect of music is such an enticing part of it, like you said. Do you approach chamber music differently than solo music? Collaborative chamber music different than solo playing?
I guess, yeah, in some ways, it's a different technique for a cellist, at least. In a chamber music setting, you're playing. You're playing with a different sound, I guess.
Yeah,
so
yeah.
As a soloist, we usually play louder with more not articulation, but more projection. So depending on the chamber group or the chamber setting, you'll want to adjust your sound accordingly. So playing in orchestra, playing in chamber groups with different people. Definitely builds that skill, I guess.
Yeah, and awareness, right? Like, coming from a singing background myself, you don't want to out-sing your neighbor, right? So it's just that idea of coming together into something. I do want to talk. Yeah, I do want to talk a little bit about what you're going to be playing on Saturday's show. But before we get to that, I just want to touch on something else, dealing with the idea of young artists and young listeners of classical music. I mean, you're having the opportunity to open for the Dover Quartet, but you're already inspiring younger audiences. I know you're involved in something called the Back to Bach project. Can you tell me a little bit about that?
Yeah, for sure. It's something that a friend of mine that I met at a program, I guess 4 years ago already, he started in 2014. He's from New Jersey. His name is Noah Lee. He's like one of the upcoming cellists right now. He's my age, and so this program is for I guess high school like string musicians, well, all musicians, I guess, to go to public schools, mostly elementary schools, and to give performances and presentations. So it's educational and pretty much encouraging these kids to pick up an instrument and to stick with it and like achieve pretty big goals if they're ambitious. Yeah. And so just inspiring them in that way.
And what's the reception been like?
I think really good.
Nice.
Like we've talked to some kids after, and they've all been like it made a big impact on them, which is what we wanted. So we'll just keep on going to schools and hopefully touching as many kids' lives as we can. Yeah, in that way. So
that's wonderful stuff. I mean, especially as such a young player, to be already reaching to that next up and coming generation, you know, just to continue sharing the music. Yeah. Speaking of sharing music, what are you going to be performing on Saturday to open for the Dover?
Yeah, I'm playing the third movement from Gaspar Casado's solo cello suite. It's a really fun piece. Gaspar Casado is Spanish, and he's actually a cellist. And so it's very fun to play as a cellist because it was written by a cellist composer. It's very cellistic in how it's written, I guess.
Yeah.
And it's actually a very fun piece. Wild.
Have you performed it for audiences before?
Not except in the audition, actually.
Nice. So all the more reason to come to the show on Saturday.
Yeah, it's a pretty rare outing of the piece.
Well, I'm sure audiences are going to enjoy it at that. David Leem, I want to thank you so much for coming by the Classic 107 studio.
Absolutely.
Such a pleasure having you here, and such a pleasure hearing you play. That was outstanding.
My pleasure.
You can catch David Liam Roberts at the upcoming Virtuosi concert series entitled Triumph of the Spirit, featuring the renowned Dover Quartet. The concert takes place at Eckhart Grammaté Hall. For more information, you can visit classic107.com or virtuosi.mb.ca.
107 Live is Classic 107's intimate concert series, brought to you by Birchwood Jaguar, the art of performance.